For the first time in 644 days, fans are back. In as he throws, picked up, made Funa for the Ducks.
Going for the shot for Taj Washington. He's got it with a touchdown signal.
Thompson Robinson scans the field. Open Alex Cota, his first catch of the year, goes for a touchdown. UCLA takes down number 16 LSU.
An exciting Saturday slate of games here and some standouts. C.J. Verdell for the Oregon Ducks, 18 carries, 74 yards, and a touchdown. How about Drake London for USC, 13 catches, 144 yards, a monster game. And then Zach Charbonnet, 11 carries, 117 yards, a touchdown, and arguably the biggest win for the conference in this young season, UCLA beating number 16 ranked LSU in the Rose Bowl. Jaden Delora keeps it himself, trying to go outside, muscle his way through, lowers a shoulder. And the fearless
I think
Delora.
that's the difference between, the Mike Leach air raid and what Nick Rolovich does. He's incorporated some of the zone read, some of the RPOs, runs the ball a little bit more. Just need to keep Delora healthy. Patrick
Joyner Jr. getting caught looking in at Max Borghi, and we have another quarterback change. Cameron Cooper in, the redshirt junior.
Big left-hander, big strong guy.
Cooper, the handoff. Borghi quickly gobbled up in the backfield.
Should have pulled that one. He probably walks into the end zone if he pulls that out and keeps it.
Jalen Bannerman with the penetration. Graduate senior out of Pickerington, Ohio.
It's interesting, that switch right there at quarterback to me. Why Delora came out of the game and Cooper comes in the game. Probably have a package down here for the bigger, stronger guy, but Delora would have pulled that football on that last read. Probably walked into the end zone.
Cooper will get another opportunity, 2nd and goal from the 5. Borghi keeps it, met again by Bannerman, who's been living in the backfield the last few downs.
I'll tell you, Washington State's been able here in the 3rd quarter to convert these 3rd and longs. That's been the difference in this 3rd quarter. Let's see right here. I think Utah State will come after them right here. This is a key 3rd down right here, just to hold them to a field goal.
Delora back in at quarterback, 3rd and 6. 3rd and goal from the 6. Washington State, a pair of touchdowns in the 3rd quarter, trying to build upon their lead.
Delay a game.
We have a whistle on the play, and yes, there is a flag.
5-yard penalty.
Those penalties in the red zone, those self-inflicted penalties of the red zone, that's as big a story tonight as any other story in this game for both teams.
Utah State, they had 1st and goal at the 1 early in this game, had 3 false starts to push them out to field goal range, and then Washington State now 5 penalties for 35 yards. And
a little bit of lost rhythm, right? Bringing Delora in on 3rd down, he kind of loses track of the play clock.
Third and goal, Delora. Trying to evade the rush, flips it in, kind of up for grabs, broken up though, and that'll bring up 4th down for the Cougars. So a drive that looked very promising stalls in the red zone again for the Cougars.
And Utah State, a team that struggled on defense last year. I really do appreciate the grit that they're playing with. Great play right there, reaching back.
Calvin Jackson Jr., the intended receiver. Dean Janikowski will come back out again, converted his first field goal of his career early in the game. It's through the uprights again. So the Cougars still lead by 2 possessions, now 23-11, just over 12 minutes left in this 4th and final quarter as football returns to Pullman. Cougars lead by 12, and you know it's college football season because it's perfectly acceptable to have letters painted on your chest once again. Time now for Allegiant Airline Together We Fly. How about this strike to Donovan Ollie?
Really a good route by Ollie. Little outside head and shoulder fake. Breaks it back inside. And then that big strong body just muscled his way into the end zone.
Jaden DeLora connecting and converting on third down. Ollie helping to extend this lead for Washington State. Cougars led just 6-5 at halftime. But now this third quarter that they had, very explosive on offense. The defense has started to step up and really put the clamps on Utah State. Here's the kick. Scarver will get another chance here. Dangerous return man, cuts it to the right. Trying to get up that sideline, and Scarver whistled out of bounds about the 30-yard line.
Scarver picked out that kicker and just lowered the boom on it. He knew that was the kicker and just tried to run him over. It's kind of scary right here, right? Lose contain, led him to the edge. Boom.
But Janikowski does what you're supposed to do. Just get in his way and be a traffic cone.
Yeah.
Just slow him down however you can. It doesn't have to be pretty. And
Janikowski's making him limp.
Yeah. So Scarver seeking out the contact. And how about those impressive numbers? 80 kickoffs, just under 2,300 yards, 6 touchdowns. His next touchdown will tie him for the NCAA record with 4 others. Slow trudging on the handoff. John Gentry met by a variety of Cougars, and this defensive front for Washington State, some impressive players. Look at the defensive end, Brennan Jackson, number 80. He's completely changed his body in the offseason. We've seen him make some plays throughout the night. And
it's interesting, Jake Dicker, the defensive coordinator for Washington State, came over from Craig Bohl's staff at Wyoming. 3 Wyoming coaches came when Nick Rolovich got the job here.
3rd and 4 for the Aggies. They've converted just 3 of their 11 third downs tonight. Logan Bonner trying to get Utah State back into this game. Delayed handoff this time up the middle for the first down. Gentry once again.
That was a good strong run right up the gut right there. There's Jake Dickert. Started his coaching career, I believe, at South Dakota State. He was with Craig Bohl at North Dakota State, and then Craig hired him at Wyoming.
Bonner looking up top. Too far. Derek Wright again, the intended receiver. Yeah, listening to Jake Dicker, when we talked to him, he was so excited about this defense, and especially Watson right here, who Watson kind of gets away with a vet move, as we like to say.
You are a track guy and a receiver. You don't like any hands at all near your jersey, do you?
Might be somewhat biased here. This time the handoff. Nice little run again is Gentry, keeping this drive alive for Utah State. Flag on the play.
Holding. Number 78 on the offense. 10-yard penalty for the spot of the foul. Remains 2nd down.
That's the right tackle, Jacob South, whistled for the hold. 7th penalty of the night on Utah State.
I think we're getting a chance to look at it right there. There's South pulling around on that little tackle wrap play. No need to.
Nope.
No need to.
And you really wonder if back in the first quarter on 1st and goal from the 1, if Utah State was able to punch that in and avoid those penalties, got a completely different ball game. But here's Gentry again Getting through the middle, bouncing to the outside, some fine running from number 2 his last couple of downs.
See how difficult this Blake Anderson offense is going to be for people to deal with. They've got a great combination of a lot of skill guys, 2 quarterbacks, and the running backs are more productive than I thought they would be.
37 rushes to just 26 pass attempts on the night for Utah State. 3rd and 5.
It's one-on-one down into the boundary.
Timeout, Washington State. Aggies were able to convert on their last 3rd down. So we'll step aside. Can Utah State keep the drive alive as they try to get back into this one here in the 4th quarter?
First time out of the half.
The beauty and pageantry of college marching bands as college football season's back upon us. Washington State up 23-11 over Utah State. Aggies currently looking at a 3rd and 5 on their own 47, trying to keep this drive alive. Cougars have been exceptional here in the second half. A pair of touchdowns have helped them open up this game. Right now it's Logan Bonner, the junior at quarterback for Utah State. This time the handoff, and that is Noah through more contact, and another carry on 3rd down leads to a conversion for Utah State.
The patience of Utah State to continue to run this football again on a 3rd and long. You feel like they'll take the shot right here. Either RPO or just launch that ball down the field after that 1st down conversion.
First and 10 for Bonner. Taking his time here. Play clock down to 8. Another handoff to Noah, but beautifully read. Jahad Woods getting into the backfield and wrapping him up.
Jahad Woods, his 41st start. 41 starts. Respected guy. They say he's quiet. Everybody loves this guy.
Preseason Pac-12 honorable mention. Jake Dickert, the defensive coordinator, said he just needs to put a cap on his career. He's done so many things for this school during his time here, has a chance to leave being the all-time leading tackler if he continues to keep up what he's been doing year after year. 2nd and 10 for the Aggies. They go to the ground once again, trying to bounce outside, but quickly brought down by Justice Rogers. So the linebackers for Washington State now trying to snuff out the runs.
They love it. You know, they don't get the opportunity that much to sit in the box like they're in the box in this game because of so much one-high coverage. And Utah State's running the football.
3rd and 9 for Utah State. They've ran it on their last 2 3rd down conversions. This time they go to the air. Comeback route on the outside is complete. McGriff, and another 3rd down conversion for Utah State after they've struggled to keep things alive all night long on 3rd down situations.
McGriff, 6'6" receiver. He's the guy that they say they have to get going. If they can get that big, tall receiver going, they're going to have an explosive receiving corps.
Tompkins, the catch outside, and now we see the tempo picking up for Utah State. 5th catch of the game for Tompkins. 2nd and 4. Bonner looking to pass again. Pump fakes it this time. Escapes on the run. We're going to rule that a completion. Number 16, Brandon Bowling, getting down to dig that one out.
Tell this quarterback has played a lot of football right here. I believe he has 2 years of eligibility left.
Junior transferred from Arkansas State. And Anderson came over from Arkansas State, so joining his head coach now in Utah State. Previous play under review, though. Always tough to see when you see those low catches where players are diving for it.
That's it, that's it.
So Logan Bonner now 10 of 17 for 95 yards. Let's see if Bowling was able to get both mitts underneath it. So much debate over what's a catch and what's not a catch over the last couple of years.
I'm not sure that ball didn't hit the ground, that he didn't have control long enough.
And those are always the tough ones, when a player catches it and then the ball does touch the ground, making that judgment call of how much control they had when the ball did hit the ground.
And so much of it is the angle in which you get the opportunity to see it. Again, we're in super slow motion. Right there, he's got that thing controlled against the thigh. Did he control it long enough before the nose of that football hit the turf? Again, they ruled it a catch. They ruled it a catch. So I don't know that there's enough to overturn that call.
That's always what's so important. What is the initial ruling on the field that you're trying to overturn, because you need so much evidence in order to turn it over. But an impressive drive right now for Utah State, trailing by 12, trying to cut this to a one-score game. Washington State defense has kept the Aggies out of the end zone the entire night. 3 field goals and a safety for Utah State.
If you have to look too long, there's not enough indisputable evidence to overturn it, right? They're going to overturn this one, though. You can see right here they're marking where the football will go back to and what the clock says.
So it was 2nd and 4 for Utah State. If it does go back, it'll make it 3rd and 4, and another 3rd down conversion potentially coming.
Wow.
First down.
So the ruling does stand. Completion's good to Bowling. 1st down for Utah State. And the drive continues for the Aggies with 6:30 left here in this ball game.
12-point game. Still a lot of football left to be played. They need it. They have to score a touchdown on this drive. The field goal doesn't do them much good.
Calvin Tyler Jr. now in the backfield, leading rusher tonight for the Aggies. 75 yards. The reverse, though. Tompkins trying to come around. Slowed down, but Tompkins able to get the 1st down.
That was a great effort by Tompkins. Willie Taylor, the defensive end, 27, is up the field, almost makes a great play. Watch 27 right here. Just he runs out of that arm tackle and then bursts down that sidelines. Can they get it in right here?
1st and goal.
They're gonna review something here.
So a whistle before the play, not a flag in this situation.
The runner made the 1st down. The previous play is under further review.
So I think they'll take a look at where he stepped on the sideline here. Did he step out of bounds before he got to that 1st down marker?
Ooh, right there.
Steps out at the 5. So right now it's 1st and goal on the 2, and looks like they'll be backing this up to the 5.
Yeah, that left foot. Right there.
But Tompkins able to stay on his feet after Willie Taylor III almost brought him down in the backfield. So the end around producing positive results for Utah State. But now it changes things.
Yeah.
Huge difference between 1st and goal from the 2 and 1st and goal from the 5.
Tompkins is electric, though. He is explosive.
Tompkins, 5 catches for 64 yards, along a 45, which was a near touchdown in the 1st quarter. And you continue to go back to that play in that 1st quarter as we look at him stepping out of bounds here at the 5. There's that left cleat.
I hate to say it, but that seems to me to be a pretty easy call.
Review, the runner stepped out of bounds at the 5-yard line. However, made the game. It would be 1st and goal at the 5-yard line.
So first and goal from the 5. So what are they jotting on that yellow sheet? Because we saw them jot something down.
Yeah, obviously the time, because the clock kept running because nobody thought he stepped out of bounds initially, so some time ran off that clock. But here we go, right? Back to the red zone first and goal situation for Utah State.
Last time the Aggies were in this situation, they had 3 false starts. Clean snap, up the middle. Calvin Tyler Jr. picking up a few more yards. It'll bring up second and goal.
I do think a question mark for Washington State defensively is the middle interior of their defense and their defensive tackles.
Another carry. Tyler Jr. trying to get through the middle. Was it enough, though? Utah State is saying touchdown. And it is ruled a touchdown, so the Aggies strike back with a score of their own, their first touchdown of the night. And they have a chance.
That was a very patient, down 12. There was absolutely no panic by Utah State. They ran the ball, they converted third down. Very, very patient, impressive drive right there.
So Calvin Tyler Jr. getting the push. The Aggies have a chance to cut this to just a 5-point lead for Washington State with 5:16 left here in the fourth quarter.
Student body getting a little impatient with these review referee holding the clock. It's been a long day for that student body too. Now,
well, there's conditioning for this type of tempo in the football season. It's their first game back in a while. Student section getting in shape.
They're getting a little restless right now.
Different kind of shape, of course.
Holds that.
But listen, you have a 1-possession game here in the fourth quarter.
Ruling on the field is a touchdown. The previous play is under further review.
So another review on this drive for Utah State. And these are always the tough ones. A lot of bodies to sort out. See when that ball broke the plane.
It does become frustrating, but you absolutely have to do this, and you have to get it right. I mean, the only question is if his knee went down before he crossed that plane, because he eventually does cross the plane of that goal line. That's obvious. It's just, was his knee down?
Officials will try to sort out the chaos. You're right, he does end up past the end zone, but does that knee touch before he gets there?
I think that's a touchdown.
I think that's a touchdown too, yep. "42 rushes to 29 passes." That's been the...
Again, though, there is some angle or some reason they decided to officially review that.
If it stands to be a touchdown, Calvin Tyler Jr. now 13 rushes, 80 yards, and a touchdown. Last season, he had just 15 carries for 45 yards and 2 touchdowns. I think he just rides the bodies of his offensive linemen into the end zone.
I mean, you could see the elbow down, but by that time the ball had already crossed the plane.
Here's the call.
After further review, the ruling on the field stands. Touchdown.
So the touchdown stands.
5:25 on the clock. 5:25.
Now all that remains is the extra point for Connor Coles, trying to make this a 5-point game. Both Utah State and Washington State have a pair of timeouts. Now you get into that near sort of 4-minute offense potentially for Washington State to try and ice this game.
5:25 on the clock. 5:25.
Officials asking to put 5:25 on the play clock at this moment.
Utah State, regardless of what happens, Blake Anderson and his staff deserve a lot of credit. Utah State is a much improved football team. This is
We have another whistle. Sounds like they're going to go to the review booth again to figure out how much time is left.
I'm surprised they went all the way to 5:25.
Well, you got to dot your I's and cross your T's, especially in the fourth quarter. Every second matters in a one-score game.
But you talk about the uniqueness now of college football with these transfer portals and players coming in and transferring. Both these coaches just raved about the chemistry of their team, which I think is a credit to these kids. You know, there's a lot of moving parts, a lot of things going on, but both these coaches love the attitude of their players.
On the field, we changed the clock to 5:25.
So clock will be at 5:25. Take a look at the clock. Prepared to win the play is whistled dead.
Yeah, that's a good job. It's 5:25.
Yes, it's 5:25.
See how easy that was?
Right. Here's the extra point for Coles to try and make it a 5-point lead for Washington State. And it's good. So Utah State, a long, lengthy, productive drive to make it now a one-score game here in the fourth quarter up in Pullman. .525 left here in the fourth quarter. Washington State up 5. They are set to receive after Utah State puts it in the end zone. And credit the Aggies and Coach Anderson for turning around this offense. Last year they averaged 275 yards a game. That was 123 out of 127 teams in college football. Tonight, 376 yards, 205 of those coming on the ground. So the Aggies getting it done on offense, but both teams, you could argue, Bob, have really done what they've wanted to do on defense and force the other team to kick as we get the touchback.
Really evenly played game. Utah State leads in total yardage, 376 to 306. But just impressive the patience you mentioned. 6 minutes and 47 seconds when you're down 12 points. Kind of like Calvin Tyler. Looks like they found a strong, explosive running back.
Tyler, 13 carries, 80 yards, and the touchdown. Now for Washington State, Jaden DeLaura. What are you thinking here on offense? You've got 5 minutes and some change left in this game, and you're hanging on to a 5-point lead.
Yeah, they're going to try to run the ball, but it's always an RPO kind of bubble screen game like this.
The toss outside to Harris. He's knocked down.
I tell you, Utah State's defense that was wearing down a little bit has to be rejuvenated. You know, that long drive, they're back in this football game. That was huge for this Utah State defense.
In game time, it was 6 minutes, 47 seconds. That drive in real time is about 30 minutes.
And they needed all 30 minutes because they were sliding a little bit defensively, Utah State.
2nd and 8 for the Cougars.
Playing some 2 deep. Probably should run the football right here, even though it's 2nd and long.
We go to Harris again. Harris trying to split a few defenders, but it's A.J. Vongpachan on the tackle, and that'll force a 3rd down for Washington State.
That was a great effort by the linebacker number 10 right there. That was a shoestring tackle out there on a very explosive player. 3rd and 5.
Cougars just 3 of 10 on 3rd down tonight. You see DeLaura sprinting to the huddle. Already in the second half, 175 yards of total offense. Washington State really needing 5 yards here. DeLaura stepping back in the pocket, tries to escape, and he is met by a pair of defenders. Jalen Bannerman getting the first hit, and that'll force a 4th down for Washington State.
That's their pass rush guy. Ephraim Bonda told us this guy can rush the passer. retraces his steps right there, felt the screen coming. Great job by Utah State's defense getting off the field. And here we go.
Arguably the biggest stop of the night for the Aggie defense. They now give their offense a chance to take the lead here. Just over 3 minutes left.
The Australian punter in his first football game in a pressure situation nailed it.
Nate Haberer, see that rugby style punt. A monster kick. But now it's up to the Cougar defense if they want to try and close out this game. We've got a great one.
And it's interesting, you know, if you're Utah State, you've been rotating those quarterbacks every series and continue with it, right? It's whose ever turn it is and let it rip. It looks like Logan Bonner.
That's such an interesting point you make, because this is the biggest possession of the game. Biggest drive of the game coming up for Utah State. It was Bonner that orchestrated that long, lengthy drive, and it's Bonner that'll get the keys to this drive.
You'd have a hard time determining right now, if you're Blake Anderson, truly which quarterback you want to have in there based on their performance, because they've both done some really good things.
That was the first punt since the first quarter for Washington State.
See if they're as patient and run this football.
Bonner back to pass on the outside, and that is snagged by McGriff.
Utah State with 2 timeouts.
Manageable 2nd and 2 up next for the Aggies. Plenty of options here. It's Tyler Jr. up the middle, and he gets the first down. Ball nearly ripped away by Rogers in that last second. Utah State with 2 timeouts.
Under center again. This is interesting to me.
Empty backfield for the Aggies. Bonner outside. Tyler Jr. races to the sideline to stop the clock.
Because now in college football, there's so much shotgun snap that you get concerned when you're under center about that exchange.
That's the thing. You saw Tyler Jr. go in motion. Bonner going to keep it himself this time. Bonner dives forward. Bring up 3rd and 5 for Utah State.
You have to think, with just 2 timeouts left, it's 4-down territory right now for Utah State.
Under 2 minutes left to play. Utah State, the underdog, trying to come in here and knock off Washington State. The Cougars trying to get the first win of the season on this opening kickoff night. Bonner, pump fake, outside. Tyler Jr. loses his footing, though. It was there.
It was there. You have to go for it. The only question is, do you call timeout right here if you're Utah State and get your absolute best play with no confusion?
The first catch by Tyler, the 8th different Aggie receiver to catch a pass.
I would call timeout right here if I'm Utah State.
4th and 3. Bonner takes the snap. Bonner outside. And it's Tyler Jr. A huge conversion on 4th down. It's the Aggies.
And now you're glad you didn't call the timeout. Twice, right? The running back out in the flat, both times uncovered. The first time Calvin Tyler fell down. This time he was able to convert the first down.
Clock stopped at 1:02. 3rd straight reception for Calvin Tyler Jr., the junior from Beaumont, Texas. Having a career night here, 84 yards on the ground and a touchdown. Bonner, the pump fake. And another strike, and this is Tompkins with the reception. And the tempo starting to pick up for Utah State. Under a minute left. Bonner again connecting. Tompkins, copy paste.
I mean, this is the first game in this program for this coaching staff with 15 transfers, and able to execute the way they're executing is very impressive.
It's looking like a photo finish here in Pullman.
Again, the trips into the boundary. Just seeing if they get one-on-one coverage up there to the field. Washington State playing all too high safety right now.
Under 30 seconds left, Bonner fakes the handoff.
Stopped it.
This play is whistled dead before the contact.
Washington State called timeout.
We'll get the call here in just a moment. I was surprised with how much time that Utah State was using, as Bonner now has 9 straight completions.
Timeout, Washington State. This is their second timeout of the half. Will the clock operator please reset the game clock to 29 seconds?
I think you make a great point. You know, you keep those. It's not a field goal game. It's a touchdown game. You keep those 2 timeouts in your pocket, but it's 29 seconds left in the game.
A lot of completions across the middle. We saw 2 straight connections to Tompkins. Utah State moving along on this drive. Their defense did a terrific job of forcing a quick 3-and-out prior to this drive. Washington State punting for the first time since the first quarter on their previous drive.
You have to think about Devin Tompkins, number 13. Big, tall Justice McGriff, number 10 at 6'6".
Here's the 9th straight completion for Bonner.
He can throw it now. He sits in there and he lets it rip. Again, I don't know I've seen as much trips into the boundary, but it's one-on-one at the top of that field right now.
See the bunch formation at the bottom of your screen. Bonner, he has been alternating every series, however, going 2 consecutive series to try and close out this game for Utah State. They fake the handoff to Tompkins. Bonner steps up, eludes the rush. Bonner lunges forward, and you figure Utah State will burn one of those 2 timeouts with just 21 seconds remaining.
Timeout.
And Bonner limping somewhat over to the sideline, but one more look as he evades the would-be sack.
Yeah, he wanted to go out in the flat, but the defensive end was in his face.
And Ron Stone Jr. getting the hit here on Bonner, and look at this, a little helmet to helmet. Bonner makes himself an eligible runner, lowers that head of course, but he took a decent shot there. So timeout Utah State. Bonner 16 of 23, 136 yards, 1 pick, 9 straight completions. Blake Anderson, his first game as coach for Utah State after coming over from Arkansas State, trying to change the culture in Logan. This would be a huge win for the Aggies. Washington State trying to get 1 more stop. Aggies need a touchdown.
The matchup into the boundary right here.
Bonner again stepping up in the pocket, trying to go up top. And a flag on the play as Armani Archie was trying to defend. Tompkins, the intended receiver. Bonner's gone to him for the last 2 completions. Officials trying to sort this out. 15 seconds right now on the clock.
Interference. Number 4, the defense. 15-yard penalty. Automatic first down.
So first down for the Aggies. They still need a touchdown, but 1 more look.
Yeah. Clearly pass interference. 15 seconds, 1 timeout.
First and goal from the 7, Logan Bonner.
That 1 timeout allows you to do pretty much what you want to do right here.
The Aggies will have a couple of shots Cougars trying to just keep Utah State out of the end zone.
Touchdown.
Bonner connects. Tompkins is the man, and the Aggies have stormed back to take the lead late here in the fourth quarter. Bonner and Tompkins taking over late in this game. 10 straight completions for Bonner. And that's 3 in a row for Tompkins.
And you think they would go for 2 here. But more importantly, just too easy on the simple slant route there on the goal line. That had to be a busted coverage. I mean, they were playing off man, it looked like, with the ball on the 12-yard line. That was just too easy.
The Cougars have been without one of their defensive leaders, Daniel Isom, since early in the first quarter. He went out with an injury. You wonder what his absence has meant in this opening game of the season.
But just the grit. Again, the grit and the lack of panic by Utah State, down 12 points. I mean, that's uncontested right there.
Devin Tompkins, the senior from Fort Myers, Florida, had 20 catches for 214 yards last season and just 1 touchdown. Has a huge one here tonight. Give the Aggies the lead.
But they went 6 plays and 78 yards for that go-ahead touchdown.
You mentioned it, just the patience and the execution of 2 long, lengthy drives in comparison to Washington State, who had a very quick 3-and-out with 5:25 left on the game clock to start their last drive. Here's the 2-point attempt. Bonner trying to go up top, and it is caught, and that is good. Derek Wright in the back of the end zone, and Logan Bonner trying to stake a claim to that quarterback spot. It's been a battle all night long, but Bonner coming through in the clutch for the Aggies, and they now lead by 3 over Washington State.
Really a nice play call right here. Empty formation, little fake of the jet sweep, bootleg, wide open on the end line right there.
We've
0-12. 0-12 Utah State against Power 5 conference teams in the last 10 years. They've come close. They almost beat Wake Forest. They almost beat Michigan State. They were 10-10 with Wisconsin 5 or 6 years ago. But to come into Pullman and get their first Power 5 win with a new coaching staff, with all the turnover on that roster.
439 yards of total offense for a team that ranked in the bottom 5 of college football last year.
Here we go with the lateral game here.
A little magic trying to be concocted by the Cougars, and that is absolutely snuffed out.
You're going to get a 15-yard penalty right here.
The flag on the play for some extracurricular activities afterwards. Dominic Tatum, a little bit too much barking after the tackle. Think about this for a second. In this fourth quarter, the Aggies have controlled the ball for 9.5 minutes out of the possible 15.
After Washington State dominated the third quarter.
After the play, unsportsmanlike conduct, number 23 of the kicking team. 15-yard penalty, first down.
And with 7 seconds, obviously it's hard to Hail Mary. So it's the super lateral backyard football kind of play right here.
Is there enough time for one more deep out to try and get out of bounds, get yourself a little bit closer?
I agree.
With 7 seconds left and a timeout.
To put yourself in position to be close enough for a Hail Mary, particularly with Washington State having that timeout. You do have a chance for 2 plays.
Ball on the 33. You figure Delora's got enough arm for 55, potentially 60 yards. So if they can get one quick completion and a timeout, Washington State might give themselves a chance for a miracle. Here's DeLora, back to pass, trying to escape out of the pocket. Down the middle, catch is made. They'll have to go to the lateral game now. Here is Harris.
Look out.
Gets it backwards.
There's a penalty, though.
Flag on the play. Here is Borghi. That's who you want to have it. Borghi looking for another man. And it's the big offensive lineman, Jarrett Kingston, trying to keep it alive. And Utah State will pounce on it. However, there is a flag. So it's not over yet. Usually in these situations, there's a whole bunch of clerical errors.
It would seem like an offensive penalty based on where that flag is, unless there's some kind of hands to the face by the defense. But I think this is an offensive penalty.
Blake Anderson.
Number 77 in the offense. That penalty will be declined.
Wow.
The result of the play was a fumble recovered by the defense. The game is over.
And that's your ball game. Utah State comes into Pullman. Blake Anderson, his first game as head coach, and they shock the Cougars. They come back from 12 down in the second half. A pair of touchdown drives in the fourth quarter put it away. And a huge win for this Utah State program as they try to turn things around.
Washington State didn't give it away. Utah State came in here and took it in the fourth quarter.
So Washington State dealing with a few injuries. Yeah, Daniel Isom go out in the first quarter, and then Jarrett Garantano going out also in that first quarter. So Washington State will fall to 0-1 to start this season as Utah State gets the upset, and that'll do it for us here in Pullman. For Bob Davie, I'm Jordan Kent. Make sure you stay tuned for Pac-12 After Dark with Guy Haberman, Michael Bumpus, and Shane Vereen.